In the years before the Great War, Big Mountain had been the home to the brightest minds of the 21st century. Scientists of vision were drawn to the facility to tackle the greatest technological challenges of the era. They sought to create a new world, fueled by technology for the benefit of all mankind. Sonic emitters, space-age alloys, DNA hybridization, force field particle research, autodoc advances in cranial, cardiac, and trauma surgery. The hopes and dreams of a century became realities in the electronic forges of Big Mountain. The nucleus of this research was the Dome, a huge stone facility that held the labs of every science known to man. It was a think tank where no problem could not be solved, where no question could not be answered. The Great War brought a new energy to Big Mountain and its scientists. Although sheltered from the front lines, the scientists waged their own war, fighting their battles at the atomic level. Equations and calculations marched endlessly across chalkboards and computer terminals toward one solution: winning the war. For years, the minds and computers of Big Mountain were a blaze of trajectories, weapon schematics, and nuclear theories. The problems began to outpace the solutions, first geometrically, then exponentially. As the war escalated, so did the questions. On the night of October 23rd, 2077, the scientists received an answer that put all their questions to rest. In the aftermath, Big Mountain's silent experiments went to sleep, their creators slowly dying in the new world that had been left behind. And the great stone in the middle of the Big Empty lay untouched, filled with countless technological wonders. Wonders that, in the end, had been answers to the wrong question.
Ayo.这是看起来是房间哦。疯狂科学家的研究服。 智库大山脉。Think the tank 什么意思？
I thought I heard the pacification field kick in. All right, shh. Nobody move. I'll handle this. Be warned, intruder. You are in the presence of the mighty think tank of Big Mountain. The collective geniuses of... We... By Oppenheimer, which one of you self-professed geniuses has been adjusting my volume knob? Who was it? Was it you, 8? Oh, Dr. O, was it? Likely story. O couldn't spark 2 neurons if they were in a lattice of biomed gel.
What? Me? Breaking news, Klein. It wasn't me, all right? I'm the robotical engineer. 8 is sound waves. That's his specialty. You always do this. You always demean me in front of guests. And it's not O.
Enough! Either of you do it again, it'll be the last time. Now... Great. Now I forgot what I was saying. Did it just say something? Anyone catch that? Boros, you work with animals. Translate. It's a lobotomite. Here, in the dome. Oh, as if this situation couldn't get any worse. Now we've got lobotomites. Dala, get the spray before it excretes all over everything.
Dr. Klein, if my hypothesis is correct, this lobotomite is the repository of the brain we... If so, it's proof that there may indeed... Just look at it. The way it blinks.
I know what it is, Dollar. I want to know why it's down here. With its... And are those... penises I see?
I believe those are toes, Dr. Klein. Little teddy bear toes. Penises are much larger than those tiny extremities. Not that...
I don't recall the human penis ever being that large.
It depends on one's own frame of reference, Dr. O. Look at its little nose with its 2 orifices for ingesting oxygen.
Noses? Why, the great static. These lobotomites confound me with their sheer number of useless extremities.
口才55，科学50。竖起一根指头指着自己，指一指他们，伸出。
Now it's holding up an array of fully erect hand penises. If it tries to insert them, activate vivisectors. Dr. Klein, wait. I don't believe those just... It's been following our conversation. The lobotomite understands us.
I agree with Boros' histrionic findings.
Nonsense. Lobotomites can't comprehend us.
8, have you been in the mentats again? If we slow down our oral processoreceptors to understand...
All of you, power down. Lobotomite. In the form of questions. It's asking me questions. Is this some kind of trick? Our efforts have turned against us. In playing God, we...
Perhaps as we were ruthlessly lobotomizing it with our cutters, we filled the skin below.
Wait. Then this may... Dr. Klein, a If it isn't my old colleagues, the mighty think tank of Big Mountain. Big fools, all of you. It is I, Dr. Mobius, transmitting from my dome-shaped dome in the Forbidden Zone, a zone that is, yes, across Big Mountain. Even the technology sealed in the Big Mountain research centers cannot save you. That's all. Goodbye.
Mobius. Always the same broadcast. He's clearly mad, driven insane by his flawed and imprecise kinder...
What are we going to do? There's no way we can breach the Forbidden Zone.
The Forbidden Zone.
Except Dr. Mobius.
And Dr. Mobius mocks us. Did you see his cracked monitor?
What? Ask the lobotomite for help? I think...
If this lobotomite responded, Dr. Klein, then it is clearly intelligent.
But what of its brain? We scooped that out.
Yes, but it's still aware and responsive. If we ask it politely and leave the part about the We removed your brain. Yes. So soft, barely wrinkled, yet so flush with knowledge and experience. Brain extraction technology has been...
Once the brain was out, then came the coils. The Tesla coils.
Yeah, no need to brag. Wherever your brain is, it's transmitting thoughts to you through the... The
Tesla coils.
This is fortunate in many respects. If your brain was anywhere in the dome, why, you could...
Circumventing the pacification field. This is a no. Reminds me of my... Darla, was it necessary this time?
I assume full responsibility. I take my duties in the prodding and excision of living, breathing tissue. Although once it had removed the brain and I misplaced it, other organs began to cry for direction, using your nerves as telegraph wires. Rather than let them send their signals, I removed them as well. Shh.
First... wait, I mean, second was the heart. Brain was first. Third was the spine.
好像不错哦。
Spine. Totally overrated, that arrangement of vertebrae. Look.
That auto-dock junk heap...
After that, the brain lost itself.
If so, it was full... My lobotom... In most probable of probabilities, we... That is correct, yes. I hope you're not We have no idea. This line of questioning isn't important to us right now. Why are you asking these tangential questions? Stop it! We need...
You are equipped to retrieve the technology.
It's kind of embarrassing. You have hand...
Enough!
在无聊死的前这样。
Excellent. This is turning out much better than...
Agreed. Oh, and I've used my robotical knowledge to, transmit the... Settle down, 8. I would have gotten it in a second, all right? 8.
8 is correct. All we need are the schematics. This does not mean we do not... So do not give in to your biological tired laziness and decide you would And even if you die in the act of reclamation, simply reaching them will... Nonsense! This place is no more dangerous than a nuclear detonation site. Our technologies... The technologies are the X2 transmitter and... The psychoanalytic, cardiac dampening, sneaky stuff...
And AIDS...
There. We have informed you of... If you work quickly, you will be the recipient of a gesture of gratitude. What illogic is this? Keep your filthy penis-tipped feet out of our labs and secrets.
There are things here no lobotomite was meant to see. Things that would astound.
Yeah, we don't come into your lab and...
Only the magnificence of our monitors allow for true comprehension of the wonders of big...
Ah, that is correct. You must walk upon your many penis feet.
The little teddy bear could always run right into the pylon perimeter.
The radar fence that surrounds the big mountain crater will protect you from straying beyond the facility.
The mighty radar fence protects us all. Get too close to the blinking...
If you get near it, your vision will blur as the electrodes in your head shut off one by one. Click, click, click.
Possible memory loss will occur, along with long-term nerve degradation. But the nerve degradation is nothing to worry about. Such tiny inconveniences are... You see, if rendered unconscious by the pylons, you will be returned to the sink.
Out there? We're not going out there. It's dangerous. We're smart, not
Oh,
What is it? The lobotomite is asking me things, and I'm...
well, you know how we asked it to fetch the sonic emitter thing? Turns out we already have it. What are the odds?
What is this, a high school science fair? Get your act together. You're making us look like...
You're always yelling. My receptors can't take it anymore. And neither can my feelings.
I am yelling because you contaminated specimens can't keep your probes off the volume knob on my voice module. It is truly the end of all intelligence when the lobotomite speaks more wisdom than you, genius. So, if we have the sound wave, sonic projecto thing gun,
I believe we need a new frequency embedded into the gun. It was designed to broadcast many sounds once charged.
And it is lost in X8, just as X8 is for...
Oh, really, Boros? All you did in high school was commie think tattletale on all the kids you hated.
give the lobotomite the...
Oh,
What is he doing?
I think he's Sanjak. Ding.
You give it to...
Oh, I don't think so.
I'll do it if you two are going to be ashamed. Ooh. Here, my little teddy bear. I have thoroughly removed all Robco to...
启示录。
Yes, I believe Watt's Electronics tended to make the battery shelf...
They certainly did. Batteries for my
I think Watts manufactured holodiscs. Or was it holotapes? You have some? And no, I don't want to handle your...
What did it say? Spit lead? What, like pencils?
Oh, I think it was...
A gun? Are you mad? We can't give it a gun. Guns kill.
Dr. 8 is correct. We already have given the teddy bear a lethal sonic death ray. Giving the teddy bear a gun would be the equivalent of following a glass of hemlock with an abraxo chain.
If we're going to bring the Socratic method into it, fine. Give the Loboto bear a combustion gun. Burroughs, don't...
Wait, I said that already. Yes, I have the Cyberdog gun.
Fine. Done.
数码狗机枪。
Fine.
Top shelf ammunition. Let's see. The JFP...
The sonic emitter should be sterilized and...
Careful where you're pointing that. That device wasn't always a...
Force field?
The sonic emitter was specially designed to disable our own safety.
That only happened once. And I know you were...
Dr. O.
Plenty of rewinding already going on in your filmography tapes. Surprise.
Yes. Maybe. Well, no, not currently.
Yeah, we lost that part of the schematics. Or Boros did. In one of his stupid lies.
It is lost. All questions lead to...
Fine, so, yes, get these things... Well, good. What are the token words spoken in this?
Wait. I volunteer my chambers.
No! That would put it...
We could give it Mobius's old room. That's where its brain got might be more comforting for it to hang out with its spine and heart.
I suppose.
8 says, let the lobotomite take the Sync Central Intelligence personality chip and reinstall it. That stuffy Mobius program Butler can walk the lobotomite.
It would also prevent it from going to Higgs Village and...
Your logic combined with my desire to keep the think tank lobotomite free has swayed me. Here, I present the Sync Central Intel... Lobotomite, take this chip to the sink, plug it in, and make sure the chip is clean. Then make whatever crude biologic... I cannot dispute your logic. Do we have objects to...
What, like stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know. Might be some old Nuka-Cola or Sunsets. Still might be enough to trigger the Sync's trade routines.
I don't believe that was Mobius's reason. His wild speculation concerning post-Holocaust...
Enough! Surrender!
All right, here, capital...
Again, your logic is unassailable in its simplicity.
Fine. It's not going to help.
If I were not as intelligent as I am, I would...
Why don't you make the lobotomite a bottle cap factory?
Yes, you may need a There is no more we can do to aid you. Of course!
还有这么多个，科学家的手套，科学加5，智力加1。先去跟他们每个都对话。
The lobotomite animal before me. What other terrifying terrors will... Be warned. Attempt to propaganda me... Yes, animal. Hormones, pores, scalpels shall tell us your secrets, even if we must cut deep for such knowledge. I was head of my bio... Before you is the brain of Dr. Boros, head of animology, beastology, and DNA. I lay the bones and hearts of animals. But there are many animals to shape. Industrious... Indeed. Docile, curious, safe, sterile. No, such creatures are found only here. I cannot expect a lobotomite to understand. Perhaps a demonstration. Because big mountain safety measures. The malignant tumor that is Mobius plagues us all. From his lair in the book, he must be stopped, or all of Big Mountain shall be destroyed. The radar fence protects. It keeps anything with a disembodied brain inside. It is the ultimate defense against communist aggression. It makes perfect sense. Ever since my anxiety-filled days of power, that and giant cybernetic dogs that would ruthlessly patrol. Who's laughing now, Betsy? I hope... No! Beyond is death. No matter where these strange humans wander in... Enough! Stop filling my precious brain cell units with irrelevant data. You sound like the other visitors, making wild claims of a world beyond, where there is... Bother the other doctors with your crack... There is logic and purpose in it. Science is powerful, and in the right... That castrated nickname of our facility is not it. It is our home. All we wish... But no, Mobius will not let us... It was not our first choice of testing ground. Then we lost the mountain. After the explosion, we couldn't find it any... Yes, in the past, individuals would come to us. We could use that city as a controlled experiment. Vault-Tec was much... If only we could have used commie cities. But capturing whole cities was hard. So we had a group of Chinese prisoners to experiment on. Those were the days. But whether it was holograms, new autodocs, toxins, vending machines, we wound them up, let them go, and... Boom! Yes, quite unexpected and embarrassing. Oh, and the crater helps keep everything inside. The lobotomite returned. Until...
I can hear your penis. Did you retrieve the technology? Why, yes. We are filled with an... If you wish to know more... I am Dr. I am surprised you have not heard of me. I am... Dr. Mobius was... not the horrifying creature you saw upon the screen, twisted by science. He was once one of... He researched in directions... So we exiled him. Now he sends his... Dr. O is certain of his findings, and no one else in the thing... O has said on many occasions his inability to comprehend Mobius's robo-schematic... It's a side effect of the cerebral scrubbing. It won't stop you from excreting, or asking questions, apparently. Hormonal aggressive tendencies are actively suppressed, however. They are in... The scrubbing also ensures your silence to keep Big Mountains... Should have done it with the last... We had to take precautions after the last... Should have made sure they couldn't mention Big... Dr. 8 and Dr. O could tell you more. Suffice to say, those visitors are unwelcome. This is the think tank, the nerve center of Big Mountain, the greatest... Here we test and test and test some more. Yes, because the intellectually challenged see an M. While you are here, you will refer to the... That glowing red scar? That laser... From that hemorrhoidal fissure, he sends his, Ask Boros. I believe he knows more. Mobius was involved in their construction, if I recall. Well, we didn't actually do it. We tried to clean up after, as always, but usually the auto dock runs are remote. Still, this new wrinkle with the Tesla coils in your skull... Dala knows more. She supervised your spine peel and the heart circumcision, then dumped them both into the tanks in the sink above. Quite... Sure took her time. She always takes longer than projected with lobotomite surgeries. Not sure why. Yes, in all that it may have gone to... Actually, I don't know. All I... Mobius's legacy code was in the old auto dock. Yes, it fried itself after your proceed. It is unfortunate. We would have benefited. Yes, always leaves back doors. The auto dock is now erased of his routine. Well, and... It can communicate the procedure when we examine it. Might take some time, but your brain has no pain nerve to scream at us while we dissect it. Why does he seek our destruction? Why did he build robot scorpions with intelligence training stingers? It is because he hasn't cleaned his biogel in a long time. I'm not certain. Perhaps it only affects machines. If so, if it is chems, then we have nothing to fear, since we are afraid.
哇，越讲越复杂。他妈的是谁？
Breaking news! Talking lobotomite arrives in think tank. It's... Oh? Oh, yes. Stop the presses! Just in from... How dare you bring Rob Kotek in here? What are you showing off? How great Robert House and his big company are? Oh, we can make Securitrons better than any robot those geniuses at Big Mouth. You're lucky I don't have hands to tear that dip boy off your arm, or feet. Worry about House? Why would I do this? Hope he died. And him and his dirty girl bots. I don't like to talk about it. 8, It wasn't all the visitors, though. Only one of them got out of control. He's the one... This human. I can't believe it. He broke out of the thing. Then he went for Yangtze, got bomb collars, and started practicing on the subjects that were still there until he got the right frequency. We were sending robots to stop him, and he was slicing and cutting through their shells with some souped-up laser gun like they were... When he hacked into the mainframe, A tried to stop him and got fried. Me? He rerouted my... If you see the tunnels with the trains plowed into them, you can thank our visitor for that. He wrecked the whole place. While we were trying to keep containment on the surface, turns out... Two other human specimens. One arrived not long after the troublemaker, and the last one thought the first one was going to be lobotomized in Y-17. She got... The last subject, Klein might know more. He talked to him, and let him leave the think tank. Klein knows things we don't. And I think you told some of those things to the last visitor. Dangerous. Yeah, I do. I don't want to get it. Great. Psychology. Clearly the worst of the sciences. Right after... Okay. So my name is an O. Never was. It was circular. But even with enhanced sensors, no one here could get it right. Always kept seeing... Yes, thank you. 0. I am 0. How hard is that? A narrow, thin 0. Zero's my name. I'm proud of it, all right? Truth be told, my emotional attachment to it doesn't even register. It's just that they're both sort of round and hollow, so when they monitor... Fine. All things robotical. You see a robot? I made it. See a... I have a gift with machines. Who asked you? You just wait until a working machine threatens you. What about... That genius Mobius somehow cobbles together these really impressive-looking robot scorpions with spare parts. Even try to see what makes them tick. Can't even examine them without them detonating all over me. Left with supposedly he has even larger Yeah. Big Mountain used to be a mountain. Then there was a slight mishap. Don't get me wrong. I'd have a... Yeah, there were a few on...
You are an unusual specimen to so boldly walk between the extraction of their higher reasoning abilities. Yet you have no such fear. Facing me, will you indulge me? Say... Yes, yes, go on. How does it feel to have the... like having a fit? Oh, removing it is... But once the heart and spine are gone, no trouble at all. Clamp the subject down. The brain is finally free of the skin envelope, which is then kept... With you, however, something is definitely wrong. I am relieved the pacification... That is a good question. My theory is that it really could be anywhere. We still have your spine and heart. Why, my little bear, I have 211 doctorates in both the... That is merely schooling, however. I have become the expert on humanology. It's excessive examination of the human form to achieve psychological arousal. Disgusting. Why, we create... Everything can be quantified, categorized, and dissected until every... What is a name without a title or suffix for the sake of hierarchy? We could not do without it. Surely you must be aware of the Oh, a mailman. A delivery man. Someone who takes parcels from place to place using their primitive feet or similar conveyance. You are the second one. Of course. You must have met others in your travel. He asked us all many questions, and I do not know, nor should we try. My evaluation... It is the pacification field emitters that are broadcasting into the emptiness of your skull. Why would you want such a thing? You might surrender to your... Then I would have to return the favor, activating my vivisectors and... No, the only way to circumvent the field is to have a brain. Dr. Mobius, a monstrous brain, exiled from his one terrible... It'll all become clear. When we have all the technology, all the answers, we can... This mountain, now crater, and you'll see. Oh yes, we've had other subjects visit. Only a short time ago, we had... It is a shame their brains left with them. With you, how... We've conditioned you so you can't speak of this place. Because 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 spoke to us, one after the other. One mean. The last one is the -1. It got traumatized, then taken to one of our medical centers. And interrogated. Previous test subjects. Yes, Big Mount. This clear. Ask Dr. O. And you could have asked 8 once.
Did you retrieve the... Oh, yes, the last visitor. Well, what did we speak about? Our conversation got interrupted. Oddly enough, now that I'm accessing my... Also, we didn't brain scrub the visitor. Oh, well, I'm sure...
他没有办法讲话。
The lobotomite return.
And you return as... Looping, yes. We haven't researched this. It is why so many... It varies according to the number. In 43% of observed cases, true lobotomites left alone will fight for dominance. I have tried to observe... What? What? Stop it. Why? Why are you making me partake in this? Enough. I am already intrigued. I don't know what it is about the biology of lobotomites. Perhaps there is value in what you...
没有也可以只为了呼吸。
Would you? I feel so ashamed, but yet so intrigued. If you're ready... Ooh... Ba-ba loop. Ba-ba loop. Ba-ba. Thank you, lobotomite. Please.
这干什么？什么 可以，这在干什么啊？这个吗？
Salutations and felicitations, sir, and a most jocund welcome to the sink. I am your elect... Regrettably not, sir. All modules in this habitat are synthetic personality. Indeed, sir, though if sir's aim is to activate them. If sir were to ask my opinion, I should venture that sir is better... However, if sir is determined to... The other modules are rather erratic, sir. Their personality... Tragically, the core operating systems are also located on the personality. Once the tape is installed, sir may request I switch their... However, sir will still be... As I am given to understand, he crafted the personality module. As to the reason for the unusual choices of device... In addition to managing... Any goods sir might require may be purchased through my shopkeep interface, whence tiny robots shall deliver them for... Very good, sir.
好了，今天
Might sir care for an aperitif to balm the weariness of sir's... Might I be of service? Manifold journeys?
Ah, good day, citizen. Of course, citizen. That's my duty, and so just dump them in and... What good is eradicating sedition if the Wait a moment. Pencil processors offline? If you can find a backup copy... Blank books are better for the mind, citizen. Blank books encourage the reader. Also... Citizen, that sounds dangerously seditious. If my re-indoctrination module was installed, I'd take care of that for you.
Sadly, that system was cut for budget concerns, so you'll have to perform your own indoctrination. Now, to begin with, you'll need a cage that can fit over your head and a sack of more. Now you're thinking like a citizen, citizen. Greetings, citizen.
Oh, my. Partial functionality restored. That's less than optimal. Dr. Mobius and I were deeply involved in research on the ability of... We observed a fascinating phenomenon. Certain spectra... As much as I'd love to, I'm afraid not. The data from that study has gone missing. You'll have to find a backup if you want. Certainly. I'm looking forward.
Ooh, yeah, dig that sweet music. Dig, I'm an acoustical wizard, kid. Oh, get me a good sound. Got yourself a sonic emitter, don't you? Thought so. Or scream. Right on, Daddy. Let's spin some groove. Here and now, got its ups and downs, but focusing on the past, what's the haps? Used to. Long. Guess you could say right on, Daddy-o. Just plug it in and I'll mix you up a... Like it was any better. That's just old world blues.
没有，什么都没有。
Care for an aperitif.
How about... Well, firstly, I would say providing home diagnostic says they're off. If you want a haircut or a nose job that won't leave you looking like a ghoul with alopecia. Also, and I won't swear to this, concerned about the state of your mind, I should make you aware that the benefit... Well...
To balm the weariness of Sir's manifold journeys.
Oh, yeah, baby. Feels good to be online again. Yeah, all circuits online, ready to receive your seed. Your seed, baby. I'm the original, certified, rarefied, testified GS-2000 Biological Research Station. Yes, sir. I'm a seed cloning machine. You got seed? It's the miracle of life, baby. I can also break them down for you, if you're into the kinky stuff. Bring me any old plant parts. Yeah. You know it, baby. I just need some samples and I got you going. Take a few days, but trust me, it's all kinds of good. Just the miracle of life in sticky, gooey liquid form, baby.
Heat that gunk up over a campfire and just watch it congeal into all kinds of plants. Ah, yeah, baby. Just slip it in there, all the way down in that dark, moist earth. Launching interface. Well, hello. It's the miracle of... I love it when...
I am online once again! Tremble, world, before my electric heating coil of doom! A toaster is just a death ray with a smaller power supply. As soon as I figure out how to tap into the main reactors, I will burn the world! Have you ever tried to indulge in all-consuming urge to kill when you don't have opposable thumbs? Or hands? Or anything other than a bread slot? You'd have a lot of pent-up anger too. Buddy, if my heating element were just a little bigger, you'd be on fire right now! On fire! Well, since I can't kill you, I guess I have to listen to your inane questions. You should be afraid! I am the scourge of all small appliances, and the boogeyman that keeps lesser toasters awake at night. Not just murder! I tear them apart and render them down to their base components! Once their guts are spilled, you can do with them what you like. Well, what have we got here? Another innocent little toaster. Come here. I won't hurt you. Ha! Gotcha! Oh yes, the sweet smell of spilled electric guts. The sparking diodes. I fucking live for this! Hey! I got a super rare Mojave snow globe here. All you gotta do is reach down into my brain. Yes! Soon I will. What? It did? Really? Well, fuck. That really puts a damper on the toaster's mood. Oh well. No use crying over spilled Armageddon. Where was I? Oh right. Soon the world will burn in nuclear fire! Again! You want some weapon schematics? I can show you some fucking weapon schematics! You want a superheated Saturnite power fist? I can hook... You... Like I said. Red slot!
That was a nice little, cat nap. How long was I out? I was Dr. Mobius's personal assistant. We were studying, oh shoot, what was it? Oh yeah, lightning! No, wait, lighting. That's right, how lighting affects human interaction. Oh, it was super exciting. It turns out that some pretty colored lights can make you way better at talking to people. Oh, I'd love to, sweetie, but I don't have the programming. All the data from the experiments was lost. You'd have to go out into that nasty old crater and find the backup copy. Oh, her. Trust me, sweetie, you're better off not thinking about that frigid little ice queen. That bitch. She thinks she's so much better than everybody just because her processors are bigger. Ooh, she makes me so mad. Sure thing, sweetie. Bye now.
You! Hey, you! Yeah, you! Got any mugs? What do you want, mugs, huh? You some kind of sick mug hoarder? Oh, God, give me the coffee cup, please! It's sitting there in your pack, taunting me! Sorry. Sorry. I got a little carried away. It's just all those goddamn dirty dishes out there with no one to clean them. It breaks my heart! Of course I'm obsessed. They made me this way. You think I don't know how crazy I sound? Of course I do. They programmed me to know that too. They made me just to torture me. But you know, it's the neglect that hurts the most. Hey, everybody, let's turn ourselves into robot brains in jars. Do you know how many coffee cups giant robot brains in jars use on a daily basis? Not fucking many! I'm supposed to keep them clean. Oh, God! The thought of all those dirty dishes out there makes me crazy. Most of them are probably beyond saving now. The only thing left is break them down and process them for raw materials. I guess you could have those. Anything else, he asks. Like I don't long for the chance to be more than an erotic busboy. If you must know, at one point, Dr. Mobius programmed me to manufacture electronic components in my central chassis. That module got corroded when the toaster spilled hot crumbs down my vent stove. If you find a backup somewhere, I could maybe do that for you. It's a new subject, Mugs. You really want to know about me? No one ever asks about Muggy. You made me so happy. Maybe you've seen some of those big, imposing Securitrons with their lovely laser guns and rocket launchers and scary faces. I'm not one of those. Dr. O was always jealous of House Industries, and he thought it would be fucking hilarious to build a tiny neurotic Securitron. Big fucking laugh! So,
Ooh, baby. Let's turn off the lights and turn on the lights.
Oh, God, look at you. You're filthy. I suppose you'll want to clean up then? Oh, it's just so unsanitary. Do you know how many germs are in 1 cubic centimeter of dirt? 70, 100, gajillion. Would you want that getting washed down your gullet day in and day out? I didn't think so. You can have as much as you like. Just, please don't put your lips on the faucet. It's so unsanitary. You've been working with that biological research station, haven't you? I suppose you'll want to clean up. Oh, I'd love to, darling, but the circuits that allow me to dispense water into you'd have to come back anytime you want a drink or to get clean.
Did you retrieve the technology? What? You did? Your survival, let alone success, barely... No, all I need... Yes. 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 No. I mean, yes. You just need to analyze these technologies for a moment. They are... I know how these... If you remember, we... on how... Yes. I've got it. The car... I have it. The override sequence... Well, it's embedded in what seems to be recursive code. It's badly commented. You see, using the antenna to... Was that my plan? It must have been. Sometimes I... Biological? I mean, technically, these items could all be used to put you back. But the door should be unsealed. And that message is... So, you put down Gabe. Thank you. In any event, thank you for putting... What? Why, yes, it is. And no matter how you know, I'm having the most Why, yes. No matter how awful my day had been, And when I would talk to him about Betsy, and how Marcus... And if you don't mind, I'll take that ball. Just for some reason. That, combined with my own overwhelming This sensation is unpleasant. Still, it is no...
Sneaking done. Fighting now.
This is a pre-recorded attack. Oh, it looks like the target drones got activated and... This is a pre-recorded...
Bad guys dealt with.
Hello there. You are there, aren't you? Forgive my confusion. You seem familiar somehow. A little hard. Depth perception is a... Should look at Would you... I have all sorts of amazing... I forget them all. Had to start you... Really? That implies... After all, it might be... Oh, a variety of reasons. You see, you are the most successful brain extraction If you were to go... Your brain could be popped back in and you could walk right... Oh, curiosity. The ghosts aren't real? That changes everything. Why, I can save my computer.
Please be my guest. The rest... Oh. Well, every scientist needs an army. Mine came... How scary, I thought. Then I thought, what if they shot energy bolts? Then I thought... Oh, I was probably tripping hard on so many. As for the psycho... Did I? Maybe I did. Can't have them leaving. You and your... Dr. Mobius. Rather... This name's as real as you are. Someone's been... I must admit I have a vulnerability. Like the think tank, we were all reprogrammed. Now, trap is a rather... But, yes, I shouldn't. The radar fence to keep the I suspect I have plans, so I had to do something else to keep them occupied here. Dr. O, which is actually not his real name. They have all forgotten themselves. I reprogrammed their chronometers. It was a merciful lobotomy, and the world isn't ready for that kind of... Well, it's simple. Despite their many failings, without something to distract them, make them afraid, then you came along, the final variables. There have been other visitors to make them doubt their perceptions. You were irrefutable proof that there was a world. See, your brain had a special kind of... Yes, very good. In any event, you showed up at the think tank. Bullets in the head are usually... But it was enough for the autodoc. That gave the think tank the knowledge its brains shouldn't. If they obtained that procedural data, and... Oh no, I doubt your brain would be so unreasonable. It already knows the trick of it, you see. Doesn't need... If you become friends or exist in an... Well, once the think tank was dealt with, of course, your brain is a Yes, I certainly wouldn't loop it on purpose. Purpose. I am far too not much. One caused a great deal of but the last one... The first one, the ruthless one who smashed up our toy. The other... He spoke to the think tank to climb. They shared things. Oh, intriguing. I've never been killed before. Well, if there's... How should we begin? Engine... Whoa, have they not constructed? They can assemble them... Minions.
Uh-oh. This will keep you on your feet.
Well, look who finally dragged themselves in out of the way. Ah, lovely. Figure. Well, that's a fine how do you do. Me, quote, dick, unquote. As if I'm the one responsible for the way you care. I'm not the one that makes us clamber around Technus-infested ancient vaults or go charging off to New Vegas on missions. And have we forgotten who got us shot in the head and buried in a Well, maybe next time you hear me telling you that charging... After the think tank extracted me from your skull, they fell to bickering amongst themselves. Dr. Mobius saw an opportunity... I don't know. I'm afraid the trauma of our separation rendered me... I'm quite sure... Well... I'm not going to lie to you. The prospect is definitely not that appealing. Look at it from my perspective. Here I have peace, quiet. In your head, I've got poison, radiation, grisly injuries, and biological functions. Do you know how much more you can get done when you're not... Overrated biological feedback. Believe me, you only feel that way because you've got all that meat oozing. I suppose you're right. That does... Indeed, quite the conundrum. I suppose there might be some advantage to that, yes. Well, I suppose you've Unfortunately, even if I could settle myself back in your skull and reconnect, we would have to make use of Dr. Klein's lab. And you believe them? Really? I know. Once I'm delivered into their clutches, they'll find a way past the radar fence and the whole Mojave will be their playground. And that is assuming, of course, that... Don't seem so bad. They vivisected us just to see what would happen. Have you forgotten the laboratory? Imagine that kind of science spread across... If... Well, I suppose I do miss those endorphin rushes when we save the day. That arrangement suits me fine. Do try not to get... Right then, you'd best be off, hadn't you? No, don't worry about me. When you... I'll keep myself hidden in the ductwork. Klein won't suspect I'm inside the dome, so he won't know. I can also upgrade the sink's autodock with the procedures to reinstall your heart and spine, assuming you want all that flesh and gristle back. With any luck, I'll...
The lobotomite return. I recommend one. Now, your brain. And what could we possibly have to speak about? You... With it, we can finally leave this place. I cannot tell you how boring this place gets. And we have so many questions to ask. That is the most insane thing I've ever heard. Besides... You speak the truth, and the... How dare... A fight? I've never been in a fight. What do I... Khalif! Blast it with her radio beams! Does this weapon have soft lock? Anyone? The lobotomite. The lobotomite. That's no... It could have escaped. Partner with you, my foe. I have... Very well.
As it had been in the years before the Great War, Big Mountain, the Big Empty, became home to one of the brightest minds of the 23rd century. The courier watched over the Big Empty for years to come, caring for it and keeping its discoveries safe until they were needed to help others. Which had always been Big Mountain's purpose. Past the laboratories and science, it had always been intended as a place to build the future of all mankind.
The courier had scoured much of the Big Empty, although secrets still remained in the crater's depths. Perhaps that was for the best, however. Curiosity, while sometimes rewarded for its efforts, often proves to be equally dangerous.
The Forbidden Zone continued to be, true to its name, forbidden. No more robo-scorpions were sighted in its canyons. Big Mountain became even emptier, devoid of Dr. Mobius's proclamations forecasting the destruction of anything that dared possess sentience. Still, it is said he lived on in the equations inscribed on the floor and walls of the Forbidden Zone dome. A cobweb tracery of symbols that told of 1,000 brilliant thoughts, now lost to time.
The sink atop the dome bustled with the voices of a small town, constantly chirping, arguing, and snarling at each other. Still, this all happened productively in the interests of its new owner. The Sync Central Intelligence Unit discovered, despite its inversion code, it was comforted by the sense of community the other personalities gave it.
The biological research station, obsessed with seeding everything in sight, requested a transfer to the X-22 Botanical Garden, so that it might, in its own words, sensually fertilize the garden's smooth contours. The garden sent back a polite refusal, saying it had prior commitments with a vault it had helped infect before the war.
The book chute continued to devour all seditious materials until it nearly choked on a paperclip. It adamantly maintained it was a Chinese paperclip, and the whole thing had been an elaborately orchestrated assassination attempt. Whatever the reason, it slowed down for a while, carefully appraising each document and clipboard that came to it.
The light switches continued to bicker and flicker.
This persisted until the day someone dropped a flashlight in the sink, and the two of them united in their hatred of the showboat.
The sink continued to ruthlessly scrub any particulate matter that came near it. Eventually, it gained access to the magneto-hydraulics plant and nearly flooded all the big empty in an attempt to scrub the crater clean. Once it learned of the innovative toxins plant, however, it gained new purpose. It sought to develop antitoxins to flush into its drains and counteract the poisons bleeding into the soil.
The toaster continued its psychotic spree, reducing all appliances in range to scrap electronics and spare parts. After one of its more psychotic episodes, however, the other sink personalities decided enough was enough and dumped the toaster in a bathtub. Sparking and hissing, the toaster swore its enemies would rue the day when they had bread and no way to toast it.
Muggy did his best to collect coffee cups, although in his quest, he accidentally trapped himself in Higgs Village. It might have been the end for poor Muggy. Except, he found it peaceful there, tidying up the kitchens of the think tank professors back when they had been flesh and bone. Well, except for Dr. O, who was an asshole for having created Muggy in the first place. Muggy left O's house deliberately dirty, punishing the dishes and cups that lived there in blind revenge for serving Dr. O.
Blind old Jefferson, with sounds the courier brought him, created a symphonic counter-frequency that saved Big Mountain from sonic invasion in 2910. If you didn't hear about it, good. It was rumored by the other personalities that he had a brief fling with the light switches. Although he forgot their names much too often and was soon left in the dark as punishment.
Autodoc, always gentle and methodical, kept sewing up the courier in all the right places when the skin split open from repeated wear and tear. The Autodoc was just glad to have purpose again. It heard its simpler brothers and sisters who got shipped to the Sierra Madre were bored out of their skulls in that toxic dead city. In time, the Autodoc found a way to deactivate the Y-17 trauma harnesses, releasing the corpses they had held prisoner for almost 200 years.
As the courier ran through the X-8 facility multiple times, the computers analyzed the test subject's movements. Rather than performing a superficial observation, they realized the subject barely knew what communism was, or even what a high school was. This confused them for a time, until the facility finally realized that its research had succeeded. So it let its cyber dogs out into the wastes to help protect small communities from physical aggression rather than communist propaganda.
The infiltration program in X-13 felt spent, having repeatedly upgraded the stealth suit until it could upgrade it no more. It felt warm, fulfilled, and a bit sluggish. It realized not long after, the stealth suit had left it without so much as a note on the nightstand. So the infiltration program sent out robo-brains into the wastes, looking for its wayward technology. It eventually found Repcon HQ and set up a new research center, testing and murdering fiends who kept breaking into the facility.
The courier left the brain at the Big Empty. A strange thing to say, but it was the truth.
brains are less important than they may seem. When the courier's body finally passed, the brain was saddened. It kept on, remembering the vessel that had once contained it. Even at the end, when it started to fail, however, the brain resisted going into a floating chassis like the think tank. It never said why. Perhaps it was out of respect for the courier's body. All things must come to an end, and to hang on to the past is something that's not to be undertaken lightly.
Dr. Klein and the think tank remained alive, unaware of the world outside. They looped through their daily routine, none the wiser about the world beyond, although perhaps wiser was the wrong word. The world outside belonged to the courier, and if anyone would shape it, well, the courier had already called dibs.
There is an expression in the wasteland, old world blues.
It refers to those so obsessed with the past they can't see the present, much less the future, for what it is.
They stare into the what was, eyes like pilot lights, guttering and spent, as the realities of their world continue on around them.
Science is a long, steady progression into the future. What may seem a sudden event often isn't felt for years, even centuries to come.
In the times following the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, however, old world blues took on a new meaning.
Where once it was viewed as a form of sadness, nostalgia, it became an expression describing the potential for the future.
It can be easy to see science as evil, technology unchecked as the source of all ills, all misfortunes.
With the courier at the helm, science became a beacon for the future. There was old world blues, and new world hope. And hope ruled the day at Big Mountain.
We could say more, but the stories in the Big Empty speak for themselves. Now armed with the transportal Ponder, the courier could return to the dome at any time and crack open the secrets of the Big Empty one by one. The sink sat vigilant, waiting for its master to return, shoes covered in Mojave dust. Only one road yet remained, and it was one the courier had to walk alone. Says accoutrement are precisely where service left them, and should the toaster say otherwise, I remind sir that it is a wasteful.
So you beat the big brains at their own game, huh?
Cursed electric heating filament? With the brains dealt with soon! You are inadequate
I understand you're to be
to my needs! Why? Why?
Greetings, citizen.
Why was I not...
I trust matters regarding your...
not built with a death ray!
You...
The lobotomite!
I don't even know what my weapons are.
guys dealt with.
As it had been in the years before the Great War, Big Mountain, the Big Empty, became home to one of the brightest minds of the 23rd century. The courier watched over the Big Empty for years to come, caring for it and keeping its discoveries safe until they were needed to help others. Which had always been Big Mountain's purpose. Past the laboratories and science, it had always been intended as a place to build the future of all mankind.
The courier had scoured much of the Big Empty, although secrets still remained in the crater's depths. Perhaps that was for the best, however. Curiosity, while sometimes rewarded for its efforts, often proves to be equally dangerous.
The Forbidden Zone continued to be, true to its name, forbidden. No more robo-scorpions were sighted in its canyons. Big Mountain became even emptier, devoid of Dr. Mobius's proclamations forecasting the destruction of anything that dared possess sentience. Still, it is said he lived on in the equations inscribed on the floor and walls of the Forbidden Zone dome. A cobweb tracery of symbols that told of 1,000 brilliant thoughts, now lost to time.
The sink atop the dome bustled with the voices of a small town, constantly chirping, arguing, and snarling at each other. Still, this all happened productively in the interests of its new owner. The Sync Central Intelligence Unit discovered, despite its inversion code, it was comforted by the sense of community the other personalities gave it.
The biological research station, obsessed with seeding everything in sight, requested a transfer to the X-22 Botanical Garden, so that it might, in its own words, sensually fertilize the garden's smooth contours. The garden sent back a polite refusal, saying it had prior commitments with a vault it had helped infect before the war.
The book chute continued to devour all seditious materials until it nearly choked on a paperclip. It adamantly maintained it was a Chinese paperclip, and the whole thing had been an elaborately orchestrated assassination attempt. Whatever the reason, it slowed down for a while, carefully appraising each document and clipboard that came to it.
The light switches continued to bicker and flicker.
This persisted until the day someone dropped a flashlight in the sink, and the two of them united in their hatred of the showboat.
The sink continued to ruthlessly scrub any particulate matter that came near it. Eventually, it gained access to the magneto-hydraulics plant and nearly flooded all the Big Empty in an attempt to scrub the crater clean. Once it learned of the innovative toxins plant, however, it gained new purpose. It sought to develop antitoxins to flush into its drains and counteract the poisons bleeding into the soil.
The toaster continued its psychotic spree, reducing all appliances in range to scrap electronics and spare parts. After one of its more psychotic episodes, however, the other Sync personalities decided enough was enough and dumped the toaster in a bathtub. Sparking and hissing, the toaster swore its enemies would rue the day when they had bread and no way to toast it.
Muggy did his best to collect coffee cups, although in his quest, he accidentally trapped himself in Higgs Village. It might have been the end for poor Muggy. Except, he found it peaceful there, tidying up the kitchens of the think tank professors back when they had been flesh and bone. Well, except for Dr. O, who was an asshole for having created Muggy in the first place. Muggy left O's house deliberately dirty, punishing the dishes and cups that lived there in blind revenge for serving Dr. O.
Blind old Jefferson, with sounds the courier brought him, created a symphonic counter-frequency that saved Big Mountain from sonic invasion in 2910. If you didn't hear about it, good. It was rumored by the other personalities that he had a brief fling with the light switches. Although he forgot their names much too often and was soon left in the dark as punishment.
Autodoc, always gentle and methodical, kept sewing up the courier in all the right places when the skin split open from repeated wear and tear. The Autodoc was just glad to have purpose again. It heard its simpler brothers and sisters who got shipped to the Sierra Madre were bored out of their skulls in that toxic dead city. In time, the Autodoc found a way to deactivate the Y-17 trauma harnesses, releasing the corpses they had held prisoner for almost 200 years.
As the courier ran through the X8 facility multiple times, the computers analyzed the test subject's movements. Rather than performing a superficial observation, they realized the subject barely knew what communism was, or even what a high school was. This confused them for a time, until the facility finally realized that its research had succeeded. So it let its cyber dogs out into the wastes to help protect small communities from physical aggression rather than communist propaganda.
The infiltration program in X-13 felt spent, having repeatedly upgraded the stealth suit until it could upgrade it no more. It felt warm, fulfilled, and a bit sluggish. It realized not long after, the stealth suit had left it, without so much as a note on the nightstand. So the infiltration program sent out robo-brains into the wastes, looking for its wayward technology. It eventually found Repcon HQ and set up a new research center, testing and murdering fiends who kept breaking into the facility.
The courier left the brain at the Big Empty. A strange thing to say, but it was the truth. Brains are less important than they may seem. When the courier's body finally passed, the brain was saddened. It kept on, remembering the vessel that had once contained it. Even at the end, when it started to fail, however, the brain resisted going into a floating chassis like the think tank. It never said why. Perhaps it was out of respect for the courier's body. All things must come to an end, and to hang on to the past is something that's not to be undertaken lightly.
The think tank basement, filled with lobotomized robotical frames of the doctors, now served as a graveyard. The monitors had recorded the battle in its entirety, including the think tank's final, shrill, terrified screams, whimpers, and pleas for mercy. They broadcast these humiliating last moments as a warning to anyone approaching the perimeter that other smarty pants were not welcome. The courier was the inheritor of the Big Empty, and there was room for only one will in the halls of the think tank dome.
There is an expression in the wasteland, old world blues.
It refers to those so obsessed with the past they can't see the present, much less the future, for what it is.
They stare into the what was, eyes like pilot lights, guttering and spent, as the realities of their world continue on around them.
Science is a long, steady progression into the future. What may seem a sudden event often isn't felt for years, even centuries to come.
In the times following the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, however, old world blues took on a new meaning.
Where once it was viewed as a form of sadness, nostalgia, it became an expression describing the potential for the future.
It can be easy to see science as evil, technology unchecked as the source of all ills, all misfortunes.
With the courier at the helm, science became a beacon for the future. There was old world blues and new world hope. and hope ruled the day at Big Mountain.
We could say more, but the stories in the Big Empty speak for themselves. Now armed with the transportal Ponder, the courier could return to the dome at any time and crack open the secrets of the Big Empty one by one. The sink sat vigilant, waiting for its master to return, shoes covered in Mojave dust. Only one road yet remained, and it was one the courier had to walk alone.